There's been a terrible incident today in Manchester. What's your reaction to what you've seen?
Well, obviously our thoughts are very much with the victims, their families. It's clearly a horrific incident. And I'm just very grateful to the emergency services and to the police. I gather somebody has been apprehended, and I hope that justice will take its course.
Are you really focusing your funding on need when, in some cases, schools in wealthy areas will get more of a gross increase in their funding than schools in deprived areas?
No, what we're doing is we're levelling up across the whole country, and that's the objective of the £14 billion programme. The schools that have fallen furthest behind will see the fastest uplift in their funding, and the objective is to make sure that every primary school pupil is funded to the tune of about 4,000, and every secondary school pupil to the tune of about 5,000 a year across the country. I'm absolutely passionate about this. You've got to have an education system that is properly funded. Schools in our country are doing better and better. Pupils are performing better and better, but they have to have the funding to go with it. And education is crucial for spreading opportunity across the whole of the UK.
Okay, we saw the return last night of Richard Ratcliffe's daughter Gabriella. What are you doing personally to ensure the safe return of his wife Nazanin too?
Well, I've intervened just a couple of weeks ago, as you may remember, with President Rouhani of Iran on behalf of all the dual nationals, the consular cases that we have in Iran, and I think that it is high time that they were released, and that is a point that not only I but the FCO, the Foreign Office consular staff, will continue to make.
Another diplomatic concern, the family of Harry Dunn were disappointed about their meeting with the Foreign Secretary. Again, what are you doing personally to sort out that situation?
Well, I talked to the President, President Trump, and he was very sympathetic, I must say, about the feeling in this country about Harry Dunn and the need for justice. I think he's going to do what he can. I must say, in my experience, America is very, very reluctant to allow its nationals to be tried overseas, and is absolutely ruthless in enforcing the code of diplomatic immunity. I must say, I don't think it was appropriate for that provision to be used in this case. And I made that point to the President. He is sympathetic. I think we've just got to keep working on that and see what we can do to get justice for Harry Dunn and for his family.
Okay. Let's move on to the national questions now. It looks as though when it comes to Brexit negotiations, it looks as though we are now entering the tunnel. Do you think there is light at the end of it?
Look, I had a good conversation with the Irish Taoiseach Leo Varadkar yesterday, and I think both of us can see a pathway to a deal, but that doesn't mean it's a done deal. There's a way to go. It's important now that our negotiators on both sides get into proper talks about how to sort this thing out. And, if they can't, then we have to be ready, as this country is and will be, to come out with no deal if we absolutely have to. But in the meantime, of course, we're getting on with our priorities, the priorities of this government, funding our NHS properly, improving healthcare in this country, and levelling up education provision across the whole country.
There does seem to have been a huge change in tone, particularly from the Irish in the past 24 hours. What is it that you've offered the EU by way of concessions?
Well, we are working very hard to get a deal, but I want to stress that if we can't get a deal, if we can't get the right way forward for the whole of the UK, Northern Ireland included, then clearly that will mean that we have to come out on different terms. We'll have to come out without an agreement. But I think the best thing we can do now is let our negotiators get on with it and do their work.
So you're not going to tell me what the concessions are that you've offered the EU. There's a lot of speculation about them, though. Can you still promise, for example, that Northern Ireland will come out of the EU customs union?
Well, I can certainly tell you that under no circumstances will we see anything that damages the ability of the whole of the United Kingdom to take full advantage of Brexit, and I think that's what people would expect, and that's what I think we can achieve. But the best thing now really would be for the negotiators to get on and do their job.
Just one last try on Brexit. Can you tell me categorically that Northern Ireland is leaving the EU customs union?
I think it would be wrong of me to give a running commentary on the negotiations, and why, with the greatest possible respect, I think look at everything that I've said previously. I think you can draw your own conclusions from that, but let's let our negotiators get on. I think where Leo Varadkar and I got to yesterday was a joint feeling that there is a way forward. We can see a pathway to a deal. That doesn't mean it's a done deal, so there's work to be done.